Welcome back to Gallagher Shots. This is Extra Tyne, the week at Newcastle United FC, with me, Emil Fanchi. Hi. And Jess, how are you doing this week?
Hello, I'm good. Yeah, good, thank you.
Aye, we've had quite a nice week because we've had
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one game to focus on.
Yeah, I said my word was going to be hopeful, and I was hopeful, and it paid off. So, yeah, good.
Well, we did say that Burnley was going to be one of the most drab games ever, but we'll get onto the excitement of that. Guests this week are Andy from the away say. Andy, what's the away saying at the minute?
The away saying.
What are they saying?
The Burnley away saying didn't exist this week, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going well. Most fans have kind of said what we're all thinking about Newcastle, that we're a bit crap, but we'll get onto that as we go.
Yeah, I think the most worrying one was the Newport guy last week. It actually convinced me. I was like, you know what? He's more confident than he should be.
Yeah.
And quite rightly too. But yes, nice to have you with us, Andy. Yeah, if you needed more reason to hate Burnley at the minute, then they dropped Andy in the shit last minute. So
they did indeed.
Yeah, them in the bloody plains, eh? And Ketch is here as well. Ketch, how's life treating you?
It's okay, yeah, quiet, yeah, not a lot happening.
Yeah, is it still limbo?
Yeah, a few irons in the fire, podcasts, books, job seekers allowance, all the big things.
yeah. Podcast about job seekers allowance. That's what we need next. But you've gone for the goalkeeper top tonight, but you had a choice of 4. Any reason why you've gone for that one in the end?
I don't know. The people have spoken. I put it out on Twitter and Instagram, and the Sunset got all the votes.
Yeah, it is a banger, that one, indeed. I don't know if the screen will crop it out, but it deserves the full shot. But I'm sure we'll get it at some point. But we might see more. Who knows? So we might as well get straight into it. Jess, it was a good one against Burnley, as we said. We didn't expect any goals. I think both you and I said maybe 0-0 around that.
Yeah,
or 1-1.
we did, yeah.
But it was tipping it down, and it seemed to suit Alan Son-Maximin perfectly. It was great to have him back, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. He ran rings. He was absolutely brilliant. I think he proved a lot of, especially the likes of myself, I think he proved a lot of us wrong when he went off against Brighton.
Brighton, yes, sorry.
Tottenham.
Brighton,
yeah. When he went off against Brighton. Bloody hell. When he went off against Brighton, I think a lot of us, I mean, we weren't like slating him or anything, but I think a lot of us
we said
had
bruised ego, didn't we?
Yeah. So I think a lot of us had a little bit of doubt about him, like you said, bruised ego. But I think he came back, and I think he silenced me. That's for sure. So yeah, which I'm pleased about.
That's what he set out to do in the week. He said, "I'm going to make sure that last on Extra Time isn't going to work to say about me." Andy, I mean, going into this game, we did have concerns after the Newport game, but when you're back in the Premier League, anything can happen, as we know, and as we saw at the weekend, it was just a madness of fixtures going left, right, and centre. Was there any concerns for you coming out of this glorious win?
Not really. I think it was obviously a great win, and again, we seem to go through massive peaks and troughs, don't we? Like we always have under Bruce, where we go from being the worst team in the league to looking all right. And there was times in that game where it looked like we were going to revert to type and sort of just throw the game away. But fair play to them, they actually came through and we got the win. And it's a 3-1. You can't really knock it at all, can you?
It's a solid classic result, isn't it? 3-1. It's like, yeah, that's comfortable. And it did look comfortable. I was impressed. You had Son-Maximin, Wilson linking up well. And we seem to be okay at the back. I mentioned this in the group, guys, before, but Ketch, Emil Kraft seems to be silently chipping away in the background and growing as a Newcastle player. Do you think you're seeing a bit of an upturn in his fortunes?
I don't know about that. I think when I think about Emil Kraft, I think about that scene in The Office where David Brent does Keith's appraisal, and he goes, under strengths you put accounts, and that's your job. And I think he's just doing his job. Kraft, his job. He's defending. He's going. He doesn't offer much going forward. He can do a job going back. He's a 7 out of 10. He's doing his job. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's found his level. I'd be surprised if he goes any higher than what he is at the minute. I think he's happy with it. What I'd like to see more from him is like be a bit more nasty. get in the face of opposition players and the referee, be a bit more vocal. Sometimes he can be a bit soft. He goes into challenges and stays down sometimes. So need to toughen him up a bit. And if he can offer a bit going forward, that's a bonus.
It's just in these handsome Scandinavians, they just don't know what to do. We need him poking someone in the eye next week and something like that. Callum Wilson, on the other hand, speaking of handsome people, gave a nice little kiss to the camera, Jess. Who was that to? Who do you think it was that?
Santiago Muniz.
Really? Of all the people? Yeah.
He's thanking him for his fortune.
I'd like to think it was the woman in the film Goal who said that Gavin Harris wasn't very good. You know, when they're up on a block of flats and she just catches him there. One of the best scenes in that film. Yeah, no, it was nice little kiss to camera that we got there. I'm not sure if it's COVID safe, but Callum Wilson didn't care. He just scored a penalty. But I mean, he's there with the goals, isn't he, Jess? I mean, how much better is it that San Maximan's actually got someone to pass to in the box now?
I know it. You just feel. What's the word? Not confident, but like a bit. You feel reassured that that there's going to be someone there on the end of it when he does get through, which he so often does. But yeah, I think it's like 4-4, isn't it? He's like the odds have been.
He's got the first player for Newcastle, I think, since Ferdinand to get 4-4 in his first game. So
yeah, it was. I think his odds have been slashed for him to be a Golden Boot this season, so we'll see what happens.
What do you make of that, Andy? Do you reckon he could do it? Do you think the form is going?
I mean, the odds are slashed probably because loads of Newcastle fans are just lumping on it now. It's the only reason, isn't it? Yeah, I think reassured's the perfect word, isn't it? I haven't had this feeling with a striker since Gale in the Championship, where you just know you might only get 1 or 2 chances a game, but chances are he'll put it away, especially the sort of easy chances, which is sometimes all you can ask for your striker. And I think we all said this when he came in, didn't we, that he'll make the rest of the team better. Because you could have 5 world-class midfielders behind, me up front, but they're not going to be able to score because there's only so much you can do just running into the box with no one to pass to. So, yeah, there's obviously a bit of excitement at the start of the season that we would have a good attacking team, and we're starting to see glimpses of it here and there. We just need that consistency now.
Yeah, and even when Fraser came off the bench, I mean, the way he ran the ball, Tom Pope looked like he was shell-shocked throughout the entire game. But when Fraser was running towards him and got the penalty, that was some speed he was coming in with there. So, yeah, fair play to the lads. They did very well. But prior to that game, there was some fiery moments catching the press conferences of Steve Bruce. Less bacon, more bile, you might say. Where is this frustration coming from for Bruce?
Well, my missus was saying to me before the Burnley game, "Why are you so mean about Steve Bruce?" and it's really hard to explain. And I was trying to put it logically, and I think it just comes down to standards. Like as a fan, growing up supporting Newcastle in the 90s as I did, and then with the Bobby Robson years and going to the San Siro, and with Steve Bruce coming in, is just it just deflates you, and it tells you where you're going to be for the next 3 or 4 years. It's not Bruce. He's said to him. He is Steve Bruce. He is who he is. He's looked out to get this job, and we just want better as fans. That's the whole point of being a football fan. You go to the match, you want your players to play better than the opposition. You want to score more goals. You want more from your club. We want more from our club than Steve Bruce. And it was the kind of, when he was appointed, actually was almost like, well, I've done you a favour because he's a Geordie. And it was like, oh no. So it's really hard to quantify why, some fans, most of us, I would probably say, aren't too happy with Bruce. But again, to be fair to him, if you look at the league table, he's doing a good job. If you look at Twitter, he's having a nightmare. So it depends what you're doing. I suppose it is all about the match. But the press conference, I wonder if that was a bit blown out of proportion. I think a bit of it was embargoed because it got a bit fiery. But I don't really think Steve Bruce gets fiery in press conferences. He had a little chip at Craig Hope after the West Brom game in the FA Cup last season. But to be fair, Craig Hope had been pretty being controversial about Bruce. So I think that was fair. But Bruce, it's the same people asking questions every press conference, and they're all mates. And I don't think it's fiery. I just think it's blown completely out of proportion. And to be honest, he gets hammered all the time. So if he wants to blow off a bit of steam, then he's only human.
Do you think a lot of it might be because he's because he's seen as such like a nice man, and he seems quite calm and level-headed. When he does kick off or say something which is like a little bit out of turn, do you think it's like it's blown up because of his like normal reputation?
I think it's because there's so many people who aren't happy with him being in the job. As soon as as the armour slips or he shows a bit of human side, they jump on it on Twitter.
Yeah,
and people weren't watching the footage from the press conference. They were reading quotes that were put out in tweets or put on the website, saying, I can't win, I can't win it. And if you read quotes like that, it sounds like he's moaning a bit. But in reality, in the press conference, I think he was kind of joking along with some of the reporters, like Vicky Sparks and people like that, and saying, I can't win. It's bloody typical, isn't it? Like, and more almost kind of jovial. But when it comes out in a story on a website or a tweet, it looks like he's throwing the toys out the pram. When in reality, I don't think he is.
Yeah.
No, and he's heading out on holiday catch, isn't he? You spotted him. Where was it? You spotted him?
Someone
Gatwick,
sent
was
me
it?
that.
Someone sent you that, right?
And said it was 10 a.m. in Gatwick on the morning after Burnley, and I just thought brilliant. He's on the airport pints at 10 a.m. He's going. The lads probably golf in Portugal. You can socially distance on the golf course in the Algarve. So deserves it. Get the Guinness down your neck and get a few rounds in the sun.
Yeah, good to see he was on the early one there as well, and I hope he's in the air corridors. Maybe not try to do a David Moyes comeback so he doesn't have to manage the team for 2 weeks and they start playing like Brazil. We will see. Thanks for that. It was quite a nice little analysis of it because I did want to think about it. Like, Jess, we spoke last week, didn't we, about Newcastle being disastrous, even though they'd like drawn a game and won a game in the cup into the quarterfinals. We're now sitting in the top half of the table. We were in the top 6 before all of the madness happened on Sunday, and it's strange. But yeah, Ketch, I think you're right. Some people have just got that ingrained since the day he arrived. You know, he's not good enough for Newcastle. He's never going to be good enough for me, regardless of if he wins a cup. And we touched on that last week. It's weird. I'm not trying to get sucked into the negativity with it. Sometimes I think it's nice to just enjoy the win on Saturday. I did have a little dig at those who were constant doom mongers on the Newcastle fan base. I got called the nonce, so fair play. don't do that again. It's perfectly legitimate. But there was more anger that seemed to come from it in the transfer window, Andy. It slammed shut. Newcastle only signing the man that we've been going on about for the last few weeks, which was Rodrigo, middle name Gary Vilke. Rodrigo Gary Vilke. So I want to call him Gary Vilke from now on. You know, Gary Vilke from Bensham. He arrived, and it was nice to see. I think he's going to go straight in the under-23s. He spoke very well, Andy. I mean, it's all you can ask for, really. A guy who's going to work hard.
Yeah, it's hard to overanalyze those signings because sometimes you never hear from them ever again, and then you could end up high flying like Henry Savage. You just don't know, do you? I don't know anything about him. I've not looked into him at all. But you know, on the back of the sort of marquee signings we did make, that's all you can really ask for at the end of the window. Don't lose anyone. Had a couple of sort of development players. But yeah, I've got nothing else to really say about Gary. Sorry.
No, of course, it's all right. Gary Vilke's here, and that's all we need to know. I believe the Peruvian coach wasn't too happy that he only went for 250,000. I think he was saying something like, you know, they've got to improve their market over there. But I imagine that's just the state of football in general. You know, young player coming through the ranks from a team in Peru, probably likely always going to happen. Jess, are you happy that we got the business done early? And do you think it was as bad as some were making out, even though we didn't get all of our targets?
I don't think it's as bad as people like on a deadline day. People were going on as if we hadn't signed anyone and we'd got rid of half the team. Like, it was just ridiculous. But I think because we did get the business done so early, people are forgetting. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems that like that. When we signed Wilson and Fraser, Jesus Christ, that seems like ages ago, like literal months ago. But I think I'm happy. The only thing that I would have changed personally was to not let Lejeune go.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't have let Lejeune go personally, but other than that, I'm happy.
Yeah, happy with that. I mean, it's a bit like on FIFA when you do all of your business straight away. and then it gets to transfer deadline day, and you're going through, and you're having to press the button 10 times just to get through. It's like, right, another hour's passed, not signed anyone. Guys, I'm not doing any business today. I've done it all. I've just got them all on a cheap because I put a code in. We still have our loans available. Ketch, a few people were saying that get these players back from injury, like Lascelles, perhaps Kieran Clark eventually, and we're going to be fairly all right. I mean, even if Gale comes back soonish, do you think that we did well to, keep the loans open for January?
Well, yeah, but I mean, the thing is, we can still trade if we wanted to get an EFL player in. We could still go down that route, so we can still trade. It would have been great to get Rob Holding in, but you can understand why Arsenal pulled that. We've had this like abundance of centre halves at the club, but we need 6 centre halves at the club because we can never keep them all fit. And people are saying, now all of a sudden we can't get Almiron in the team. Almiron will get his chance because we've got such a bad record with injuries. So I don't think it's a problem. I think the transfer window was great. You got four players internationally proven, coming into their prime, have played in the Premier League. Yes, they've all been in from relegated clubs, apart from Hendrick. But I quite like that because we might be in a relegation battle and we might need that experience. So incomings, it was a good window, but you got to be careful not to pat Ashley and Bruce on the back and go, well done, because that's how a normal club should operate. You should buy players you can afford who make your team better. It's just like we're not used to doing that. Is the thing.
Yeah.
And the only other thing to mention is it would have been better window if we'd have got some people out like Save, Lazar, a couple others. Maybe I don't think he fancies Yedlin.
Atsu and Yedlin, I think.
Atsu,
I had them
Aaron's,
on my list there.
I'm a bit OCD. I'd like to see them off the wage bill because they're just doing nothing, and it swallows up wage bill, and it would be nice to get some of them out. But I think what you find with them is they're on huge wages. Their agents don't want to move them. Best case scenario is you get them on loan with a small percentage of the wage paid. So could have been better outgoings wise, but I was happy with what came in.
Yeah, certainly. Yedlin, I think, is going to assess what's going on in January. I saw something mooted about for that. Atsu's a strange one because he seemed to be going to every club under the sun, but still couldn't get his moves. So look forward to him scoring 6 against Brentford. We mentioned the international players there. There's been a few in action. Shea got 76 minutes last night when Switzerland lost 2-1 to Croatia, and he's got a couple coming up. The good news is I think he's playing, so that injury was obviously nothing. But I don't know what the Euros are doing at the minute, guys, if anyone can see, but we've got Fraser, Lewis and Hendrick potentially going to Euros. It's got to be important, Andy, that we've got a few players potentially going to the tournament next year. It's not very often we get it for Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember a time where we've had so many players who are actually going to be playing in a major tournament. In terms of Newcastle, it means that they're obviously going to improve if they're playing international football. I mean, Jamal Lewis is probably one of the better players for Northern Ireland, but when you look at Shea, and if St. Maximin ends up going with France or whatever, playing with absolute world-class players, it just shows that we have got the quality in the squad there. It just means that we're just backed up by our weakest links in the team. But it'll certainly make the internationals more interesting for us because we never really have any Newcastle contingents. And for the first time, we may well have England players. Well, first time, not ever, obviously. But might have England players there
since
as well.
Kieran Dyer.
Yeah.
I think it was. I was trying to think actually of a time when we had so many international players all going out at the same time. Because we've got, like I say, Shea, Fraser, Lewis, Hendrick, Kraft playing in a friendly against Russia tonight. Almiron is got. The weird thing is here, you've got some of our lot playing playoffs for Euros, some Nations League, and then you've got Almiron getting ready for the World Cup qualifiers for against Peru and Venezuela. And then let's not forget the big one, Akraf Lazar, who you mentioned there. He's playing Senegal on Friday and the Democratic Republic of Congo on Tuesday. So, get your streaming boxes set now for that one.
I don't think he's in the squad, I think that was a mistake.
Is he not?
I think he was on standby. The club announced that he was going. The club announced he was in the squad, and then he's not. The Moroccan FA have not announced him. So No one wants him, basically.
That means there's 3 better Moroccan left backs than Lazar.
Even Morocco are trying to loan him out to other countries, and he still won't leave. No, it's good. I think it's positive to have internationals in there. So let's just hope they don't get injured, because there's a lot of games. There's like 3 games for some of them, and I doubt they'll play all of them. Bigger news in the world of Newcastle. Ready or not, here he comes. DeMarco put a very strange image on of some brown ale, sliced home baked bread, and a bottle of Blanc. What was it? Blanc Neuf? Neuf Blanc. Yeah, Blanc Noir. Sorry, Blanc Neuf. White and 9. That was. Jess, on a scale of absolute load of shit, how much of a load of shit was this?
It was hilarious. It was absolutely. I think he's on the wind up there, because it's too much of a coincidence that like there was like, but I wouldn't read too much into it. I think
three helicopters leaving from Elsick. Oh,
I know.
woke me up the other day. I don't know.
I don't know. I reckon Staveley's just messaged him and said, "Do this. What is it? I guarantee they will all jump on it." I reckon he's just taking the mick. Like, it's too much of a coincidence for it not to be that he's consciously done it. He has consciously done it.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a legal professional. He's not just going to blow his confidentiality just for a laugh, is he? Especially someone at the top of his profession.
I know.
Then there was the picture of the flower. There was the flowers as well, wasn't there? And people were like, lilies. "Oh, lilies represent this," and like, "Oh, yeah, just."
So people said lilies represent rebirth, and I said, yeah, it's also the most chosen thing at a funeral. So make of that what you will.
Did you see that there was a plug unplugged as well on the other picture? So it was like someone's pulled the plug on the transaction. It's like, I love our fans with the are mental.
I look forward to next summer. A kitchen just completely destroyed. So it looks very messy, doesn't it? And then we'll see what happens with that. Ketch, tinfoil hat on for one moment. Is it happening?
No, the guy's like taking the piss out of Newcastle. The sad thing is, people are going for it. People are going, this is spot on. This is it. And he really is taking the piss with that, because he doesn't realise how serious people take this. And the other, while we're on this one, right? Staveley's husband, who's tweeting links to Rick Astley.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it can't be him.
He started liking tweets again.
An official account. I've had this on Twitter with people, and I'm like, it's not him, and people are like, oh, it's him. I messaged George Culkin when he did that Rick Astley, and I went, is this him? And George said, I'm on holiday. So I was like, oh shit, sorry, George. And he said, I think it's him. I can't remember. I think someone said it was him, but I'll check. And he never got back to me. So I still don't think it's him. He's liking tweets by Money Mike Ashley.
I know. The fact that Money Mike Ashley has got the fan base on strings is just the peak.
If it is him, I don't want him anywhere near my club. Tweeting Rick Astley links to YouTube.
Maybe it is Rick Astley just trying to keep his sales coming in.
Do you want someone like that running your club? Nah.
Yeah.
Not Rick Astley.
Yeah. Well, he said never going to give you up, but I think unfortunately at the minute with Mike Ashley it is together forever. One for the fans there. Thank you. But yeah, I did see someone comment on one picture. It was, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but it certainly came out as one, and just put "Inbred we trust." which you know,
that sums up the whole summit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a good little account actually on Twitter. And Ollie, I think, said it, and you know, he just said that looks weird, doesn't it? But inbred we trust does mean that we do have to mention that Sunderland's under 23s beat Newcastle's under 23s 4-0. They're making it 7 in a row. You gotta let them have something, you know. It's a very tough time. Well, look at that. Look at that. We've done all the proper stuff, and now let's get on to the thing we came here to do. It's time for Lovely Lads 11. This is what we kind of touched on last week. Fede Fernandez at the end of Newport went straight over to the guy who missed their penalty, arm around him, and we what did we just say? It's just canny bloke, isn't he?
It's just lovely.
It's just lovely. It's just a lovely lad. So we thought how about we make a lovely lads 11? Fede Fernandez put himself even further into the picture this week by posing with his daughters just early morning. One of his daughters was drinking the high caffeine drink that they drink in South America, mate, I think. Yeah, which I've not managed to try. I really want to try it, but she kind of like was drinking from the straw and then came up for it and just went. It was brilliant. But he was happy as Larry, happy as Fede, you might say. So I thought we'd make him captain, but let's build the team around him. I think it's the first time that Federico Fernandez has had a team built around him. But we've had a few for goalkeepers. But Jess, I want you to kind of give us your verdict, and then we'll go around our 11 here.
Jess is making notes. Look.
I've come prepared as well, mind.
Not at all, yeah.
Oh, God.
Because obviously, me and Emil went out to Twitter and asked for the suggestions. So I've written everyone down, and we can get a full. If we're playing 4-4-2, we can get a full team.
Yeah.
Out of the suggestions that were given.
I've got a full squad on mine.
Can I make one? Can I make one and back up with a story?
Yeah.
Yes,
let's have it,
absolutely.
Let's have you straight in there.
So I like this feature because it gives me an opportunity to name drop.
So, you've already done Culkin.
So I've dropped Culkin in, but this is the big one. So we've got to have Lascelles in there, and this is why, right? When he won an award when I was working at Match of the Day, and the night before I took it, I went up to present him with the award at the training ground and do an interview. And the night before, someone messaged me and with a story about something he'd done outside, someone he'd helped outside Hana Hana in Chinatown. I don't know if you ever remember this story. So I went up and gave him the award and did the interview. And at the end of the interview, I went, "Oh, can you confirm this is this story that you've helped this person outside Hana Hana?" And what happened is, him and his girlfriend went for dinner, and there was a guy in a wheelchair, an ex-army veteran, who had like fallen out of his wheelchair and broke it. So Lascelles is walking into Hana Hana to have dinner with his missus, and he sees this guy. He runs over, helps him. He's trying to fix his wheelchair, and this guy's with his missus, and they can't fix the wheelchair. So and it's raining. It's November, and so Lascelles says, "I'll give you a lift home." So he gets him to his car. He can't get him in. He's got this big 4x4. He can't get him into the car. So he takes him back to Hana Hana, gets him in the bar at Hana Hana, buys him some drinks, and rings him like a special accessibility taxi to take him back to his house in Gate. Pays for the taxi, pays for the drinks, gives him his gloves. Lascelles had gloves on. He gave them his gloves. They added each other on Facebook, and Lascelles kept in touch with him. And this guy was an ex-Marine who lost his legs in Afghanistan. Sorted him out with tickets for the game and just kept in touch with him. And Lascelles was like, he said, "Oh, I've got an ankle injury at the minute," and he said, "I just don't care anymore that I've got an ankle injury because I met this guy and he couldn't walk." And so on. I was just like, "Oh my God." And we did the story and picked up by a few outlets and some American media outlets picked it up. And I just thought that is the guy you want in captain in your club. And he really is a genuinely nice guy. And that's a true story. And he didn't really want it to come out, but I heard about it and made everyone know about it.
And now it's out.
You know what? Not one person mentioned him either. He wasn't on our list.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, he's in there now.
Now he is. No, this is what we wanted. We wanted plenty of options in there. I mean, we've ended up with Lascelles and Fernandez in centre back. Darlow in goal. No, that's amazing. When he said he gave him his gloves, for some reason, I imagined that Lascelles had goalkeeper gloves.
Well, he didn't say. He might have.
Yeah. Right, he's just going to Lascelles out with goalkeeper gloves on all the time. Really wanted to be a keeper. You know what? Fair enough. We can have Lascelles and Fernandez in there. A goalkeeper's really tough. Andy, I don't know what you've got for this or you, Jess, but we did have 4 suggestions of Shea Given by Daryl. Cernacek was in there, Andy. Rob Elliott's been mentioned a load of times, and Pavel Cernacek. Yeah, Pavel Cernacek's top you got on there. John Carell's even got a mention because he was apparently kept at the club for so long because he was just a nice guy. So we are spoilt for choice, but maybe if we narrow it down to starting and reserve, Andy, what's your vote?
Well, I don't have any anecdotes about any of the players.
Yeah.
Other than I saw Fernandez and the Metro ones. I actually have Krull for my keeper.
Krull? Oh God.
Yeah.
So many nice bloody keepers.
I know. I feel like every keeper we've had is just a lovely bloke, and you could probably say the same about like Steve Harper going back as well.
Yeah, Steve
But
Harper.
I just remember you can tell a lot about a player after they've left, and they still love tweeting about the club and saying how much they enjoyed the time. And he was always one of those people when they did the when the players go and visit kids in hospitals and stuff. Tim Krul was always there, and I don't know if he's actually a nice lad, but he always came across that way.
To be fair, we don't know if any of these people are nice.
No.
We're just basing this on a couple of good stories here. I mean, Tim Krul does have an accent to die for as well. It's just one of the most. It's like it just lures you in when any Dutch player speaks. It's like it's just wonderful.
I think I've just got a soft spot because of the World Cup when he got brought on just for the penalty shootout.
Yeah, that was incredible, wasn't it?
Krul just seems like a top bloke. So yeah, I think we've got a case for him. Jess, do you have anyone you have a strong case for? I know Rob Elliott liked the tweet that we put up yesterday, which was good.
Mine was going to be Rob Elliott. Rob Elliott
did,
as well. Yeah.
Someone wants to be in. He wants to be in the.
Someone tagged him at the Dilsh. Gotta be. And then Rob Elliott liked the tweet about who would make your lovely lads 11. And I was like, he's going. I said,
he seems a bit arrogant now.
Yeah, gotta be saying, yeah. I've not left the northeast yet. Come on.
No,
I'd say Krul and Elliott's quite a nice little pairing.
Yeah. I would have mine would have been Rob Elliott, just because of like he stayed. He's like
he's still in colour codes, isn't he?
Do you know what I mean? So that would he would have been mine. But now you've said that about Krul, I also really liked him. And Daryl said Shea Given.
Shea Given because he waved at him from a TV box.
That's the only reason he's got.
Given left it. Given, I know it was for his own reasons because we were absolutely abysmal, but Given did leave us in the shit, and that's more than Steve Harper did to us. So, I think sod off Shea. You know, I love you, but sod off. Just Cernacek get a look in. Ketch,
Of course he does.
We're gonna have Cernacek could be the number that we retire. We could retire the number one in his honour, but
okay.
I think we do really have to move on from the lovely Lampkeeper now.
So much thought.
I know. We had other defenders. Toon Pauls gave us a brilliant case for the other Elliott, Robbie Elliott.
Yes.
Fantastic disciplinary record, he said. Born on Christmas Day. I said personally, you know, he's got the most wholesome celebration of a chicken when he scores the goals.
Tweeted me this week.
Oh, he heard about it as well. The Elliots have got like a syndicate going on.
Yes.
it's all the Rob Elliots.
See these mats I bought?
All Holy Designs. Yeah.
He tweeted. He said,
I saw that.
Put the kettle on. I'm coming round. So he's
in.
Has he turned up though?
No, he lives in LA. So he's better off.
He stood you up.
I'll go around these.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, Robbie, I'm on my way. So let's travel back. So what was Robbie Elliott? He's a left back.
So
we're gonna have Robbie Elliott in there. I like that. Have we got a right back anymore?
Can I shout a right back? Have you got one, Jess?
We've got Warren Barton.
Yeah, that was mine.
Barton.
I was going to say Aaron Hughes.
We did get Aaron Hughes as well. Actually, he was one of the very last ones to be mentioned.
Have you got a story about Aaron Hughes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm good mates with his brother-in-law.
All right. But has he saved any Marines?
Probably. Not Aaron.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Lascelles has really set the bar high, to be honest. Warren Barton
Aaron Hughes not just sorry.
Well, by the way, Warren Barton did also like his tweet about him. So Warren Barton invested in this.
They'll all be watching to find out if they made it.
Can you imagine, Ross? It's like we're going to premiere this on YouTube, and like the team of Robson's like early era are just going to be sat around going, "Come on!" They'll be like shouting at each other. What was it about Aaron Hughes about that? He's just retired.
Just a nice guy. I was going to say, hasn't he just recently retired after God knows how many years?
It was something like Aaron Hughes played with.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Johnny put it on, Johnny Sharples, I think, or something. It was like Aaron Hughes started his career when something like Leeds were in the league. I can't remember now. I've really ruined the story. Whatever.
I know exactly what you mean as well.
No. I mean, just because Aaron Hughes was playing football at two different times doesn't necessarily mean what's going on. Is that someone let the dogs out?
Sorry.
Where's that coming from?
It's not.
I don't know.
Sorry,
Dog.
I heard a
Someone's
dog.
hacked the chat. I
Is
heard
that a
that.
ghost? There's like a ghost dog in the
Yeah.
chat.
It sounds.
It's definitely right. Okay.
Anyway.
Look, just to mention, whose dog is that? Is it right? Okay. Steve Howie was one that I spotted just because he looks like a nice guy, but I'm not sure.
No, I've got a story about Howie.
Or it sounds like it's gonna be bad.
He
This.
wasn't very nice to me.
Oh,
He
right.
wasn't.
Okay.
Oh.
Can't
Strike
be
him
in.
off then.
Not a nice guy.
You're not nice to catch. You're not getting in. Simple as that. Rule Fox was he defence? Was he
Winger.
Winger.
So right. Okay. So just checking. Just showing I've been a. Kilcline was another one that was mentioned. Now I met Kilcline when I was doing the rounds with Justin in the hospitality at one point, and he was one of the nicest guys I've ever come across. He was wearing leather trousers and he was wearing a shirt which was like one of those Robin Hood lace-up ones, and then it had like a sigil of a tree, and it was just like I was like, you should be in Fleetwood Mac. He looked amazing. So special mention possibly. We've got a very full defence there though. So far we've got Krull and Elliott. Either one's going to be in goal. Robbie Elliott, Lascelles, Fernandez, and then Hughes or Barton. We'll come back to it. Let's spend some time on the midfield because there's loads. Andy, do you want to get the ball rolling with one of yours?
Aye. The first one that sprung to mind for me was I don't know if it's just because I'm just thinking of the current squad, but Miggy, the damn smile just never stops. I just how can he not be a nice bloke unless it's all just a big facade and he's actually a horrible bastard.
Every photo,
Yeah, exactly. We're like 7-0 down. He still just loves life. I think he just loves being a footballer.
Yeah, no, he does. He just appreciates what he's good. And to be honest, that's something that another player had when we get to the strikers. But Ketch, have you got anyone that you want in the midfield?
Nobby Solano.
Solano's not a bad one. Yeah, I think just for the trumpet story, really.
Yes.
I got a mention last week about him playing trumpet down the phone to Bobby Robson. We're not actually speaking to him. Jess, have you got anyone?
Someone suggested Lauren Robert just for the time when he was in his pants.
I know you see.
But I think they're taking lovely as in like to look at and
just
not
lovely to look at. Yeah. No, this is just lovely on the inside. See, for me, Robert is one that I think I would veto just because I'm sick of watching his Instagram stories.
I'm not.
I like them, but they take about a week to get through. So
yeah, there's a lot.
And he's got a lot of food.
He did kill Olivier Bernard as well.
He almost killed Olivier Bernard. Yeah. Just whacked that. I think Robert doesn't make it just on the basis that I feel like he could be a bit of a shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think
he'll flirt with someone.
No one mentioned St. Maximin, and when he came, he did all the thing with the food bank and stuff.
Yeah, Saint does come across as a lovely lad.
That was forgotten about, so I think
Jonas as well is another one.
Yes, Jonas was mentioned. Rob Lee was mentioned.
Rob, so many players have been mentioned. Wijnaldum was mentioned because he can't stop smiling either. But look at him.
I think Gutierrez has to go in just for how he kept his head up during all the shit he went through at Newcastle.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I think we had a few others. Speed, God rest his soul, was mentioned in there.
Lovenkrands
and Hayden. Sellers.
Yeah, the lad who was always smiling, even though he was crap and never got in the team. Bigger Romana.
Wow.
Time. Just never gets in the team.
Is it strange that he's been mentioned twice on this Extra Time series so far this season? I never thought I'd hear his name twice.
He's a bit of a cult icon.
Cult icon, Bigger Romana. They'll do a feature on Football Focus at one point saying what went wrong. Can we narrow this down? I mean, we've got so many in there. I think Jonas is a definite. So is Almiron. Saint and Solano, I think.
So that's all wingers.
All wingers. It's a Keegan team, clearly.
Yeah. Outer wingers and inner wingers, and then just let the defence deal with the rest.
That's
fine.
Looks good. Quite a good team, this, you know.
It's not a bad team at all. Newcastle have had some good players. And before we go on to strikers, I know that Randall wanted us to put Yedlin's dog Simba in. Not Yedlin, just Simba. So I said that we would make club mascot Simba, along with our patron saint Pavel Cernicek. And then we've got our strikers. So, Jess, who have we got? I think we had Cisse, didn't we?
We had Cisse, Demba Ba.
Cisse and Bar.
Callum Wilson, Shearer, Rondon, and there was one more. Hosselu.
Hosselu.
What about Les Ferdinand?
Ferdinand. Oh dear me, there's so many. This is going to be hard.
Well, we had Lovenkrands before as well.
Lovenkrands as well. Lovely guy.
I remember with him
as well. Sorry.
Follow that, yeah.
Lovely lad, massive cock.
Lovenkrands. Speaking of massive cocks, do you remember? I can't even get onto this story without at the end of that. Sorry. I was about to talk about his dead dad, and then you just chucked that in beforehand.
Andy, you're known for your quotes on these videos, but all I heard was speaking of massive cocks, but then no name, as if you were introducing yourself.
Maybe I will start. There you go. That's good. Yeah. That's all in WhatsApp group now from now on.
Oh my God, Andy Burns Ham. That's what his name is from now on.
Oh
my God. Sorry, Lovenkrands is dad. Mr. Lover.
Anyway, I'll try and bring this back to a mature conversation. Lovenkrands' dad died and then he scored. That was
the Plymouth game, wasn't it?
I can't remember who it was against. I just remember
Plymouth FA Cup game. I think in the it was freezing, absolutely freezing. I was there, and I think we won 3-1 in the championship season. But yeah, I remember that story. It was a nice little write up. Lovenkrands does seem like a lovely guy, and he's got a big soft spot for.
I didn't.
Hey, Ketch is looking at us like a primary teacher. He's going to make us all stay behind.
I was thinking about Mr. Lovenkrands. Deserve this.
Oh, again, he's probably watching this as well. What the fuck's going on? I mean, there's also a case for a man, Ginola, for sticking up for Newcastle this week in the Sky Sports studio. So there's another one. That was your easy like tweet of the week. If you said fair play to Ginola for standing up for the bastards at Sky. 100 likes instantly.
The irony with that is didn't he leave because his wife didn't like the Northeast?
Ginola, sorry, Ginola. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Again, have you got that story? No.
I think I broke that story.
You broke, yeah, that's what it was. to the actual minute. Well, we're stacked here in lovely lads 11. So, are we settled on that midfielder, or do we want to see a centre midfielder in there, or do we just kind of go with this, given it the fact that this doesn't matter?
Put another one in and just have one striker, because I think we're pretty stretched.
It's a very new team, I'll be honest.
I feel bad. We'll have Rob Lee sweeping up in front of the defence.
I just feel like we should put Frank Brennan in there or something, or Jackie Milburn, just to even it up for everyone. Oh look, lovely lads back in the day. They played through the war, for God's sake. Strikers, who are we going to have? Because I'm only letting us have two here. I think what was the case? The case for Cisse was that he was just so grateful to be a footballer. I think he sent money back to his family every so often. Just a top guy, and he also likes Newcastle still, even if he is flying into family homes in Turkey.
I'm happy with Cisse.
Cisse in there?
Yeah, let's put Cisse.
Ketch, what do you reckon for his partner? I know Bar's been touted, but sounds like he's going to get sweeps out.
It would be, I mean, they played together, didn't they? I like Celez. Just a nice chap.
Nice chap, and always smiling as well.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the type of person, if you told Ferdinand a joke once, he'd be laughing at it 5 hours later. He'd just be having a little giggle to himself. Rondon as well. I mean,
Rondon,
nice guy. I mean, Amiobi, Shola's not even had a mention.
The
man who just likes.
No,
cats.
He's not in. He's not in. Actually, he's puppet. He's in.
Of course,
he's not in.
Yes, he sat in that Sky studio. I did actually look through some players, and I saw Nolan's name, and I thought, he tried to get Carroll sent off against West Ham so he can get bent. Like, you can go, just go, mate, just go.
Yeah.
Can I just add one thing? Manager Chris Hughton.
Chris Hughton in there,
yeah.
Chris Hughton, director of football, Sir Bobby Robson.
Oh.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so we've got blimey. So Lovely Lads 11 finally. All of the 2001 squad holding their breath right now. Warren Barton's going to throw a glass at the wall, and he's not loving it anymore. Yeah, him and Hughes have got to fight it to the death. We've got in goal Tim Krul. On the bench, Rob Elliott, because he's never going to leave that bench for the rest of his life. Robbie Elliott making it in full back. We've got centre backs of Jamal Lascelles, who saves Marines, and he's just general national hero for that Pride of Britain award and all that. Federico Fernandez stealing the captaincy off him because he's just a canny guy. And to be honest, next to Lascelles, he doesn't seem that lovely anymore. And then on the other side, we've got a battle between Hughes and Warren Barton. Guys, if you're watching this, fight. And then our speedy defence of Alan San-Maximan, Jonas Gutierrez, Miguel Almiron, and Norberto Solano. Some say that the Gallagher might actually get ran through with a midfield like that. They'll just keep going all the way down south. And then up front, we've got Papi Cisse and Sir Les Ferdinand. This side will be managed by Chris Hughton, with a little help from the ghost of Bobby Robson saying, "You'll do for me, Bonnie lad." A mascot of Simba, Yedlin's dog, who I believe is actually going to stay at Newcastle, and Yedlin's going to leave and go somewhere else. It's part of the contract. And Pavel Cernicek is also there as our patron saint of football. Bloody hell, that was harder than it thought. But all's to say is that Newcastle have had some lovely lads over the years. Can't we agree?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, lovely lads and lasses as well in the chat tonight. Thank you very much. We've run out of time, thanks to the lovely lads. But I hope you enjoyed it. Jess, are we happy with lovely lads?
I'm very happy. I'd quite like to see them play, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a reserves if you want.
Yeah.
Let's do it now. We'll have a chat afterwards. But yeah, we'll have to do Shithouse 11 at some point.
Oh, yes. That's a bit of me there.
We had the chat about shit houses and shit huts last week, so maybe we'll go back to that at some point when it's an international break. Ketch, thank you for joining us with the top. We didn't get to see the others. Do you want to show us them just quickly? Just chuck them across the screen. There's one. Yeah, lovely rainbow top there.
It's like the generation game.
It's more like he's about to do a big art attack. Yeah, this is an art attack. They're all lovely.
Stunning.
Yeah. And I believe that Ketch is actually going to sell them. Yeah, he's agreed to a competition for whoever guessed the correct member of the team. Isn't that right, Ketch? I told you, he's giving me primary school teacher vibes. He's gonna give me a demerit after this for some reason. Andy, thank you as well. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's my thing, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah. And thank you ever so much for speaking of big cocks. Jess,
anytime, Emil.
Jess, I will see you next week.
Pay us an extra time.
Oh my word, no! We got extra and a bit extra as well. Bit on the side, I think we'll call it next week. Jess, I'll see you next week because there's no game this weekend, and we've got Man United to come. So we'll see what the hell we get to talk about next week. Woo! This has been Extra Time. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you've got other lovely lads that you want to put in, then put it in the comments and we won't read them. See you later.